Shoulders. Not only will having stronger shoulders help you lift heavier weights for almost all your upper body exercises, but having muscular, broader shoulders gives you more of that V-taper look and enhances your overall appearance. And I'm sure most of you already know about very effective exercises like barbell military presses, seated dumbbell presses, and lateral raises. But if you want to efficiently build muscle and avoid plateaus due to adaptation, it's very important to switch up your exercises. So rather than going over the common shoulder exercises that you already know all about and you're probably doing right now, I'd like to go over 5 of the best shoulder exercises that you're not doing because you've either forgotten about them or maybe you never even knew that they actually existed. So you're going to want to stay with me through this video because these exercises are extremely effective, and if you haven't been doing them, you can bet that by incorporating these into your shoulder workouts, you'll start seeing some really nice changes to your shoulder size, shape, and strength in no time. Keep in mind that the shoulder muscle has 3 heads, the anterior, medial, and posterior, or the front, middle, and back heads. And when combined, these 5 exercises will help you develop all 3 heads. Let's start with one of the best exercises for your lateral head, the leaning lateral dumbbell raise. Regular lateral raises are one of the best exercises to build the middle part of your shoulder, but this exercise presents a lot of advantages that the regular lateral raises can't provide. When you're standing upright raising dumbbells to your sides, you're going to lose tension on your shoulders if you go any higher than parallel with the floor or about 90 degrees from your body. When you lean, you're creating an angle that keeps the tension on your shoulder for the whole exercise while allowing you to raise the dumbbell higher up, increasing the range of motion for your contraction. To perform this exercise, start by finding something sturdy that you can hold on to. Grab it with your hand and walk your feet in nice and close to whatever it is that you're holding on to. Lean away from it until your elbow is almost completely straight and locked out. And then with a dumbbell in your other hand, raise it to your side until your arm and the dumbbell is parallel with the floor. Whenever raising a dumbbell with your arm straight, you want to make sure that you keep a slight bend in your elbow rather than having it completely locked out, because not only will that help prevent an elbow injury, but it'll also keep the tension on your muscles rather than your joints. After raising to parallel with the floor, lower back down to your side and repeat. Because of leverage, this exercise is more challenging than regular lateral raises, so you will probably have to use a lighter weight than what you're normally used to using for your regular lateral raising movements. But you should still be shooting for 8 to 10 reps with a heavy weight that's challenging for you and almost leads to failure by the last rep. If you don't have something sturdy to comfortably hold on to, you can also get similar benefits with a behind the back cable lateral raise because the angle that the cable pulls on your arm is similar to the angle that gravity will pull on your arm when you're leaning. Next, I want to show you an amazing exercise for the front head of the shoulder, and that's the incline frontal dumbbell raise. And with this one, I want to show you 2 very effective variations. For the first one, you'll want to set an incline on the bench at an angle higher than a regular incline bench press and lower than sitting straight up. So you want to select something in between. You want to be leaning back at a little higher than a 45-degree angle. Hold both dumbbells at your sides, allowing them to hang straight down, and make sure you're leaning all the way back against the bench. Bring your legs nice and close together so that your knees are touching so they're not in the way of the dumbbells moving up and through. Raise the dumbbells straight up until your arms and the dumbbells are once again parallel to the floor. Since your arms are straight, remember again to keep your elbows slightly bent. Then lower back down to your sides until the dumbbells are slightly behind your back, right around your butt, perpendicular to the floor. Then raise back up and repeat. The variation of this one involves using a barbell instead of dumbbells, and you'll be leaning face forward in a prone position against the inclined bench. Start with the barbell hanging straight down and then raise it up until parallel with the floor, and then repeat. Leverage-wise, both of these are harder than regular front raises, so you will have to use a lighter weight again, but the same advantages apply here with a greater range of motion on the contraction. So now we've isolated the lateral head and the front head. Now let's get to the posterior or the back of the shoulder. I call this one the long angle dumbbell row. This exercise is honestly one of the most effective exercises I've ever done for the back of my shoulder. And the crazy part is I never see anyone doing it. To perform this exercise, start by leaning against something lower than waist level. You want to bend down by about 60 degrees, although you can also do this exercise on a bench just like you do a one-arm dumbbell row on the bench, but obviously at a different angle. In either case, let the dumbbell hang straight down. A lot of people flex the front of their shoulder when doing the rows, but this is wrong. You want to allow the dumbbell to drop straight down towards the ground, and you want the front of your shoulder to be relaxed. You also want to remember to stick your chest out and to stick your butt out to maintain that neutral curve in your spine. Now, with a regular dumbbell row, you would be pulling the weight to your belly button, and that would target your upper back, a little bit of the back of the shoulder, and your bicep. But here, instead, we're going to be opening up the angle of the elbow, and we're going to be aiming to bring the dumbbell further back towards your hips. So when you're rowing back, you almost want to imagine that you're trying to put something into one of your pockets. Once you pull the dumbbell up to your hips, lower back down and repeat for reps. This tiny change takes your bicep almost completely out of the movement and puts all the tension on the back of your shoulder. Now, like I said, most of you have not tried this one, so I highly urge you to try it because you're going to be amazed at how different this feels from a normal row and just how much it targets the back of your shoulder. I honestly like this one way more than something like reverse flies, which everyone does for the back of the shoulder. Next, let's go back to the front of the shoulder for barbell frontal raises. There's really nothing flashy about this exercise. I chose it because I constantly see people doing alternating dumbbell frontal raises at the gym, but I very rarely see anyone ever loading up a barbell and doing front raises with it. Using a barbell instead of dumbbells will definitely stimulate your muscles in a different way, and it'll also allow you to lift a much heavier weight load because you have two hands on the bar. If your goal is to grow your shoulder muscles to a larger size, then using heavier loads with barbells can definitely help you do just that. Load up the barbell, lift it off the rack, and let it hang in front of you against your hips. Raise it straight up until it's directly in front of your eyes and parallel with the floor. Again, remember to keep your elbows slightly bent when raising and then lower back down to your hips, trying to avoid swinging your back as much as possible. It's a good idea to select a heavy weight load that you may have to use a few cheat reps and use a little bit of momentum on the last 1 or 2 reps. But for the most part, there should be minimal swinging during your set. Let's move on to our last one, which will target all 3 heads of your shoulder at the same time. One of the most common exercises for shoulders and one of the best is a seated overhead shoulder press. Even though I see people doing overhead presses all the time, I rarely see people doing Arnold presses. And if you already know about Arnold presses, don't worry, I'm going to give an additional variation for those of you that already knew about this exercise because I want everyone to be able to learn something new out of this video. Arnold presses are going to target a lot more of the front head of the shoulder, and they'll still also effectively work the middle head and a little bit of the posterior deltoid for stabilization. Start seated with both dumbbells on your knees. Raise the dumbbells up under your chin into a position that looks like you just completed a bicep curl. So your hands are in what's called a supinated position with your palms facing your body. Press the dumbbells over your head, and as you lift them up, you want to turn the dumbbells all the way around until your palms are now facing away from your body. As you press up, you want to try to not flare your elbows out the way that you would with a regular overhead press. Instead, you want to keep your elbows a little tighter together. After locking your elbows out over your head, you want to lower back down and turn the dumbbells inward back to that starting position and repeat this for reps. Now, like I said, there's a variation to this that works a lot more of the front of your shoulder that I wanted to show those of you that have already had some experience with regular Arnold presses. It's essentially the same exercise except without the rotation. So you would start in that supinated position, you would raise all the way up with your palms facing you in that same supinated position. This is actually one of the most effective exercises you can do to target the front head of your shoulder. For both the Arnold press and the variation that I call reverse shoulder presses, you're going to have to use a lighter weight than you would normally be able to use for a regular overhead dumbbell press. That's it, guys. I really hope this video has helped you out. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I release new free tips and tricks just like this. Also, if you'd like to take all the guesswork out and take the next step, we have done for you programs that require no trial and error nor research on your part. Our clients on our fat loss program lose an average of 20 pounds or 5% body fat in only 6 weeks. And those that take part in our 6-week muscle building challenge are gaining inches of muscle all around their chest, arms, and legs in only 6 weeks naturally. With this challenge, you'll be getting a customized meal plan based on your goals, your gender, and your individual body. You'll also get a 42-day workout plan with a full video exercise library so you always know what you're doing and exactly how you're doing it. And don't worry if you don't have access to a gym. We have both an in-gym and an at-home version of these programs included. You'll also get an accountability coach to help mentor and guide you through the entire process, and they'll answer any questions that you have directly to your cell phone. The best part is that as long as you don't cheat and as long as you don't quit, you'll get the entire challenge as well as all the challenge material for free. To learn more, you can click the link in the description below, or you could visit my website directly at gravitytransformation.com. I'll see you guys soon.
Pump it.